Alright guys, welcome back to another video. So, bit of an update. Yeah, not our setup. Mum's gone away for two months, and she's come to Alice Springs. Had a previous setup done. She bought this van probably 12 months ago, and had an off-grid package installed, and it's not enough. Alright, so we're gonna do a bit of an update while she's away. So I've done some shopping, jumped on eBay, grabbed a few things, and then also went down and seen the boys at ARB in Alice Springs. Got a few things from there too, so we'll go through what she's currently got. Yeah, so it's I believe it's a 2017 Mercedes Sprinter diesel. Was a hire vehicle at one point, so she's got UHF and Self-I Go. Had a bit of an upgrade. So when she was looking to get the off-grid system installed, the guy that did it done a pretty good job. So he's got Manager 30, all right, and remote up here for the inverter. So I've got a couple of issues. Radio's not working at all. So it lights up, but that's about it. I'm going to be upgrading the manager screen while it's here, and in the last probably 6 months it's had a brand new Mike Coleman air conditioner fitted, and we're not going to be running this off grid. It's only when plugged in at 240. So come down to under the seat. So she's got driver seat, passenger seat. This is registered as a 3-seater, so I've got a 3rd seat option here. So coming in under, so currently she's got mini fuses and the main mega fuse. All right, so which is good. He's labelled everything. So MPPT, which is this one here, Manager 30, which is this sucker right here, and then the inverter. So got the Manager 30, which is the alternator and portable solar, and this one runs the fixed solar up on the roof. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this charger with a 100 by 50, but a Bluetooth version. I am going to flip around the Manager 30 because it's around the wrong way. So easy access to that plug on that side, but then all the wiring connections are on the inside, which makes it harder to get to. It's got a 1200 watt, I believe it is. Yeah, 1200 watt redarc pure sine wave inverter, which runs off the battery, all right, which is sealed away in here, which is good. So it's 105 amp hour. We are going to be upgrading this system, but we're going to do a little bit differently. So for now, just going to start by ripping out this, pull the fuse for the input, and then isolate the solar panel. And then we're going to swap out the MPPT and then start rerouting some stuff, but I am going to have to flip that around because I need to access the ignition trigger and make it easier to access the wires. So got some goodies. So there's the 100 by 50 Victron, so we're going to keep the same. Unfortunately, you can't get a fixed solar option for redarc running on a separate system, so we're going to upgrade it to a 100 by 50. Upgrading the shunt on the manager system. Now we do have another component for the manager system coming, just hasn't arrived yet. Additional big alternator charge, so this will also act as additional solar portable, all right. And also, just in case we have issues with the Manager 30 solar, she's got a secondary and backup solar. I'm going to be replacing one of the lights on the outside because that's pretty crap. So what I'm going to do is start with the MPPT, rip the old one out, put the new one in. We are going to reuse this one in another job. So yeah, we'll get that out, get the new one in. It's pretty straightforward. It's exactly the same size, so it's unbolt, undo the wires, pop that one out, put the new one in, and then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so a little bit of, I'd love to say it's, I'm just going to say it's kind of just installation error. Now, we've got the roof solar panel, positive and negative. Unfortunately, the negative to that, I mean, it's not a big deal. The negative to that kind of runs to the negative side of the battery. So I've put this open at the moment, but it leads to this lead that runs to the battery. The positive, however, runs to the MIDI fuse, which is powered off the main system. So that lead there actually goes in and under, comes through the side here, and then connects straight to the side of, into the battery. Now, labeled them as they came off the MPPT, so that's actually the PV, which is solar panel. That's the battery one. That was actually the solar wires. So wires coming down from the solar panel were actually hooked up to the battery side of the MPPT. So it kind of explains why it wasn't working. But we did also have the, I'll put it here again, but we did also have the ground on the side of the MPPT wasn't actually connected at all. So they kind of, yeah, a little bit strange, that one. So I have to go through this whole system and double check everything. I'm going to bypass the solar fuse there. I'm going to add a secondary fuse because that actually feeds into the main harness for the whole electrical system for that one. So I'm going to put a separate MIDI fuse in there for that, just probably here somewhere. So it's near the MIDI fuses there, but the main input to the battery for the MPPT is going to run in here. But I need a MIDI fuse to come from here to here, potentially a MIDI fuse, because we're going to be running 50 amps. So, and a breaker as well to shut off the solar. So I have to figure out a way to install a breaker here and a MIDI fuse if I can't. Yeah, so there's probably MIDI fuse over here and then possibly breaker here, or MIDI fuse here and breaker there. One of the two, but for now it hasn't been wired up properly, so that's probably why she's not getting any solar off the roof. But yeah, we'll have to touch base and go from there. Well, we've got the solar charge controller in. That cover's still a little bit loose, so it's not 100% straight. Manager 30 spins flipped around. The battery monitor's in, sitting in there where that blue light is. Same spot as the other one, thankfully. Got the ignition trigger all wired up, ready to go. Tested, seems to be running fine. A little bit fiddly with the older system. I mean, it does kind of work with the older screen, so still calculating, because obviously it hasn't got a battery monitor connected to this screen, being the old style monitor. It's got the Bluetooth version now, so it's going to be continuously calculating until we get this new screen. We've got 240 coming in, alternator not trying just yet until we get that ignition trigger all sorted, and the solar is portable solar for that one. Alright, so we're not going to get any solar there, but everything's all working. Aircon's back on again now because we had to pull apart the negative for the battery. But yeah, so I haven't hooked up the MIDI fuse for the MPPT just yet, so I've got to get a bigger fuse to run that. But seems like it's all going well. I'm just going to tidy up some wires and go about that. But yeah, so far we've got the MPPT in and the solar charge controller, but I mean, there's a bit more to go. Space is a very tight premium in here, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to mount the BCDC. I might even be able to lay it down in here, but then if I do that, it's kind of going to be a little bit in the way. But I might even be able to mount it up here, so then as that falls down, but yeah, we'll see about that. Otherwise, yeah, it's definitely a lot better now than what it was. That the wiring for that solid from the battery to the MPPT was way too small, so I've rewired that. And yeah, the ground case wiring wasn't even connected, so that was interesting. But still a bit more to go on this, but yeah, so far it's getting there. Slow and steady. Like the battery monitor's working now on the app, so it's needing a full charge before it says anything, but that's pretty normal with these ones. So well, call it there, and we'll pick up the next spot. I might have some MIDI fuses by then, otherwise we'll just attack this solid the BCDC charger and the ignition wire. Alrighty, so a little bit of work done in the meantime. So I've bodged up because I haven't got the 2 new solar panels to go on this one just yet. So I've run the existing wiring on the roof, which is rated to enough for 1 solar panel, which is good. So I've got that fed in to here, to the mini fuses, lined up the MIDI fuses to the MPPT. So that's all in, updates all sorted for that. So yeah, just got to update the fuse there on the MPPT side for the input to 60 amp, just to allow for the size of the solar charge controller, but for now it's there. And starting to wire up the additional alternator charger. What I end up doing for solar, so down here I've got the circuit breaker. I still got to tidy up the wires, so for now it's just a little bit messy, but got it on a circuit breaker. Alright, so then if we need to isolate anything, okay, so it's going to be fused there for the input. Alright, this is the input into the battery, is going to be fused there. Input to the MPPT is fused here. So we're going to have a single output into the system and a twin input into the MPPT. Each solar panel is going to have its own breaker as well, just so we can isolate that if we need to. But now the fun part of adding in this wiring. So I put on the lid, and it folds down perfectly well. So I'm just going to have to run the cables back into here a little bit, run them along, and then into the cable box here. Just tidy it up a bit, and yeah, so far it's getting there. We're still waiting on a few more things to come in, but for now it's definitely upgraded how it used to be. So I've made that a 50 instead of a 30, and just tidied up some wiring and repaired some wiring, and run the new battery monitor for the Manager 30, which seems to be working a lot better. I do actually like the way the app works with this. It's got me thinking about upgrading for the van and for the canopy and the Hilux. So we'll get this wiring sorted and get back to you. Alrighty, so DC charger's in, working, ignition triggered, which is good. Hooked up a portable solar input on that side too, so just in case the Manager 30 solar gives out, she's got a backup here. But vice versa, so if she has issues with the alternator there, she's got the alternator from here. So at the moment, between the two, that's pushing out 58 amps, which is pretty good for a 30 and a 25. So, but end up going and labeling so she can quite clearly see what everything is. Just got to tidy up some wires and secure these wires here, and then just tidy up the wires underneath all these. It's got the 240 input for this one. I'm going to put back in a second, and inverter wire. But yeah, this is not going to be seen, but still, it's on the plus side with this. The wires going back in like that, it kind of, as the lid shuts, it pushes all the wires back, so which is good. But yeah, I've got the solar off for now. Still waiting on these solar panels. Yeah, I reckon I might just call it for that, and we'll catch you on the next video. But yeah, it's getting there. Definitely needed a lot more upgrades than what she got given initially. So yeah, thanks.